Watch.
On Ohana Re. This map came from the Team Liquid map contest. Pretty cool map. I don't know a lot about it. Don't have a lot of experience with it, but it does look. If you look at the mini map, it's pretty cool looking map. A 1-versus-1 map. So that's pretty cool to see. And I'll let you introduce the players, bro.
For sure. So we see up in the top left, we have iSNoctis. He will be our teal Protoss player. In the bottom right, we have our pink, because he is a baller, FXOpTiKzErO.
Yeah, FXOpTiKzErO winning that huge computer. Wonder if that's the one he's playing on now, or if that indeed turned into a lot of money. One of the two happened. And building that pylon right at his ramp. And PvP is a very, I know from being on the UBC StarCraft forums, that someone posted a picture there showing the different mirror matchups, and PvP was two people playing rock, paper, scissors, which I find pretty funny because that it can be that a lot, but this map is really spread out. The natural doesn't look too difficult to take, and the third doesn't look actually that difficult either. Generally with Protoss versus Protoss, you don't see huge macro games. We'll see what happens here. A lot of things can depend. You know, Phoenix can really change. Colossus and the number of Colossus can be absolutely crucial, as well as opening. So a very dynamic matchup. Pretty much identical at this moment, though.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit faster for FXOpTiKzErO on that gateway. But yeah, like you were saying, like there is a fairly long rush distance on this map, and they do have a ramp, so 4-gate isn't as viable considering you can just block off that ramp with a single force field. And yeah, both players going for that first gas, and like you were saying, it is pretty difficult to move a Protoss versus Protoss into a macro game. You both kind of have to mentally agree that you're going to go for the same expansions, and yeah, that's usually the only way that you can really get away with it, unless you've done a lot of damage and you're really far ahead, of course.
Well, you know, maybe these guys agreed to a gentleman's game. Maybe they shook hands before and decided that no attacking before 12 minutes. You know, you never know, especially with FXOpTiKzErO. Actually, I severely doubt it. Both these players are going to want to represent where they live. BC versus Alberta. FXOpTiKzErO going to want to push his team ahead by 2, whereas Noctis is going to try and deny that and make it a nice 2-2 even game. So both these players doing pretty similar builds. Looks like FXOpTiKzErO is just slightly ahead, though. If we watch the production tab, they're pretty darn close. We do have warp gates coming out for OpTiKzErO right now, and yeah, they're very similar builds right now.
Well, it does look like OpTiKzErO is going for that second gateway, so we can go for the fast 3 stalkers. And I did like that little cute probe micro that we saw from Noctis, just irritating that gas a little bit of OpTiKzErO, and then OpTiKzErO actually coming back and saying, hey, I could do that too. I'm going to come into your gas and harass your workers a little bit as well. So it does look like there's a slight supply bog on Noctis' side. Right when I say that, it finishes up and he's got his first stalker on the way, but 2 extra stalkers making for those 3 stalkers from FXOpTiKzErO. And yeah, Noctis does see this coming, and he knows for sure. Like, he's seen this build a 1,000 times, I'm sure. They're both GM Protoss players, so they know exactly what's going on right now.
As we saw our observer zoom in on that map, our cameraman in space. What a beautiful map. I actually really like how this is laid out. I haven't had enough of a chance to really kind of look around. It kind of looks like Belshire Beach in a way, but I like this little stream.
Park. That's what it looks like.
Kind of looks like
T-Rex just emerge from the forest and slaughter both armies.
I want to make a short arm joke right now, but I'm not really sure how to put it in. We've got 2 gateways coming down for Noctis, but interesting little engagement right here. FXOpTiKzErO is going to try to keep all his stalkers. There we go. Not really losing any hull damage there. Only a little bit. 65 out of 80 there, and is immediately regenerating shields at an incredible rate. But there is a Robo Bay going down right now for Noctis.
Yeah, looks like OpTiKzErO is just going for the simple... Oh, no, right when I say that, I thought he was going for 3-gate, but he just dropped his robotics facility as well. So they're both doing, I believe there's 3 gates down. Yep, 3-gate robo for both players. Just a different variation of when you actually get that robo. So we will see a little bit more gateway units, most likely from OpTiKzErO. But yeah, I'm interested to see if they're just going into Colossus or what exactly they're going for. It is very common to see maybe 3 Immortals and trying to push into that expansion. Like, the rush distances on this map are fairly large, so yeah, interested to see what we're gonna see from these builds.
even those quick stalkers will take a while to march their way across the map. They don't actually slow down in that river, but it will take them a while to get there. Maybe that will force this game to be a little bit longer. But there's an Immortal coming out right now for Noctis. Immortals can be huge. Immortals just huge damage to the stalkers. So if these guys are going to go for pretty much the exact same builds. Of course, there's a bit of variance there, but if they go for very similar builds, it's really going to come down to the micro battle, and that could be fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And when you see Noctis sending his observer across the map, he actually did opt to go for that first, whereas we see the Immortal coming out for FXOpTiKzErO, but he did have a lot quicker of that robotics facility, so observer coming out just has that chrono boost going, so looks like it's yeah, pretty even like you were saying for sure.
51 to 48 food count, a little bit of separation there, but only 3. You can easily make that difference up with a nice decision while in battle, and a Twilight Council going down. You being the Protoss player, this being a Protoss versus Protoss, what do you think is going to happen with that Twilight?
I think he's going into a Blink build. Like, he could be going DTs, but I'm thinking he's going to tech into Blink. Having that Observer and the Immortal, like, you're in a great position with all that mobility. But we do see, I believe Noctis should be going for expansion here. He's floating a lot of minerals. I'm not really sure why he hasn't dropped it yet, and he, again, doesn't want to do it. I don't really... There it goes. That was a little weird. He was hesitating. I'm not really sure what he wanted there. Maybe he... Did he just get a scout off on the Nexus of FXOpTiKzErO, possibly? I'm not really sure what made him hesitate. No, he doesn't see it at all, so I really don't know. He was like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Decides he's going to do it. They're both going for expansion. Looks like we're seeing a 2-base PvP, something you rarely see.
He was floating up to 700 minerals for an extended period of time there, so maybe not the best decision right now. Still a little bit behind on food, but the food count's very close. No upgrades yet. Well, besides Blink, I was referring to armor and weapon upgrades. No forges out on the map yet, unless I missed it. But looks like FXOpTiKzErO might come up here and try to poke a bit.
Yeah, right when this Blink is done, expect to see some Blink micro coming out of FXOpTiKzErO. And he's going to snipe that pylon. That's always nice, because now he wasn't supply block there, but he thought he was way ahead in supply, where now he's he's not. And he's going to bring that Observer up. He's going to wait until that army's gone, and when Blink finishes, he's just going to hop up into that main and see how much damage he's going to do. If Noctis is smart about this, he might leave a couple units up there. But I don't think he knows that Blink is on the way.
FXOpTiKzErO actually pulling back worker supply very close right now. Like you said, could wait with that Observer, but now both Protoss players have Observers. Now, if the Observers spot each other, sniping your enemy's Observer is huge. Then you have free reign of just running around the map and looking at everything. Of course, until another Observer comes out. But seeing how this... force field there... That was really close, but not actually able to trap any units or do any real permanent damage, but Blink is done.
Yeah, exactly. And we do see a third Immortal coming out and a Colossus on the way for FXOpTiKzErO. So usually in the late game, it kind of turns into who has the most Colossus in PvP. So the fact that FXOpTiKzErO is getting this first one out already, and I don't see any higher tech units coming out for Noctis. Usually you'd see something like... I don't even know, maybe Archons or something like that, something to add into the mix, because at some point, if there's a lot of Colossus on that, you need something to deal with that.
Exactly, Thermal Lance on the way. Blink actually being started by Noctis. Little engagement right here, and Blink's away, only taking a little bit of hull damage, but good control by Zero right now. Really focusing on not losing anything, just kind of poking around. And looks like, as you said, he's going to try to get those Colossus numbers up. He's actually dropping another Robotics Bay right now. And so really going to try to get those Colossus numbers right up. Worker supply 46 to 46, as you can see. We're now 47, just trying to make me a liar, but very close. Both these players producing probes at almost an identical rate.
Yeah, exactly. And right as I was saying, the Templar Archives are coming out here for Noctis, so it looks like he will be going Archons, just because Storm isn't too effective in PvP. Both players are dropping their Forge right now, and yeah, they're both just kind of macroing up a bit. I would expect FXOpTiKzErO to push on some sort of timing here. I'm just not sure when. 2 Colossus is a very popular timing, but I'm not sure if he's confident enough that he's just going to push right in, considering he knows that they are in very similar positions right now.
Exactly. Thermal Lance going to complete any second. Blink finishing for Noctis. So both these players really playing passively. I'm sure the units lost tab is really boring right now. There hasn't been a whole lot going on. Both players getting +1 at almost the exact same time. Yeah, look at that. Units killed 4-2, workers killed, I think it was 2-1, and not a lot 1-1, so both the scouts went down, and that was it. And Archon on the way, like you said, Storm's really ineffective in PvP, effective in every other matchup, but not in PvP, so choosing to get those Archons. Nice little blink out of there, taking a little bit of hull damage, but not actually losing any units, so that's good. And his Colossus numbers are up to 3, Sprawl.
Yeah, exactly. He's actually getting 2 at a time right now. So this is all going to come down to where the engagement takes place. With that Archon build, once you get charge out, then basically what you need to do is find an angle where you can sandwich. That's usually what you try and go for, because if you do not have your units spread out, they're just going to get decimated by that by the lance of the Colossus. And we do see a third base coming up by both players.
Wow.
I don't...
Exactly the same time.
Yeah, they're like synchronized... I don't even know. Synchronized Protoss players. But yeah, this is very interesting. Both players going for the third around the same time. And I think we're going to see a cancel here from Noctis. And yeah, he does indeed cancel that still. FXOpTiKzErO third is going to be in... yeah, it's going to come out first. But he is going to get trapped here. Trying to blink... what is he going to try to do? Blinks behind the minerals of the third. And yeah, he is not going to get away with those stalkers. They're right off.
No way. He's getting trapped right now. Making sure the Immortal goes first. Picking off one stalker, second stalker, almost down, running around, but I believe there's an Archon on this. Oh, there was an Archon. He could actually blink up there right now, but alas, it is over. Was not able to do it. Yeah, I didn't have vision right there, and we see the Colossus count is actually kind of getting out of control right now for FXOpTiKzErO.
Yeah, I'd look for FXOpTiKzErO to make a bit of a push at some point. I think he's going to poke with them soon just because, well, then again, his third is quite a bit ahead because he knows when he dropped his and he saw the cancel. So he knows that he's ahead in that third base. So if he just kind of sits around and macros up really well, then he's going to do really good. But we do see 1,500, 1,200 minerals now floating for our for Noctis. So that is quite a lot of minerals that could translate into warpins.
He was heavily supply blocked there, so his money went skyrocketing, but it's still up right now. Doesn't have a lot of gas. That's really what he's hoping for right now. Looking like he wanted to put some pressure on the third base, but now he's kind of insecure about it, dancing back and forth, taking a couple Colossus hits. There's so many Colossus in this ball. That's a crazy amount of Colossus. I do think he needs to supplement with a couple more Gateway units, though.
Yeah, and these lands are just going to, every time these Colossus hit, just so many of those units take damage. The splash is going to be so effective unless Noctis can really spread out his unit. And we do see Archons coming out for FXOpTiKzErO as well. So I think FXOpTiKzErO is in a really good position. Like I said earlier, it really comes down to where the engagement takes place. But that third was up before Noctis. But Noctis actually does have the supply lead.
Yeah, he definitely does, shooting ahead in supply. We see weapons level 2 almost at the exact same time. Armor's coming out for both players, although Noctis is going to have his armor way ahead of time. So that's really good for him, getting out this Zealot Templar army. And looks like he's going to move in here, check the base. Doesn't see anything there. He's got a bit of a scout there. But now it looks like FXOpTiKzErO is stepping out across the map, going to grab that watchtower. And looks like he's going to try out and do some damage here. Just huge splash damage from this massive ball of Colossus. And Noctis is kind of backing off right now.
Yeah, exactly. I would be pretty scared if I saw that army, so I understand why he's running away here. And Blink Micro just getting ahead, snipes 2 High Templar, and those are not free, not at all. But we do see a 4th base coming down for Noctis, so he's trying to get ahead on that even later late game. But there is so many Colossus. Oh my god.
We were just talking about how Protoss versus Protoss, you don't make this many bases. Maybe they're both stream cheating, and they're like, we'll make them liars. But there's going to be a big engage. Oh, man, they just keep dodging in and out. But, oh, I keep wanting to say, here we go. But they're just kind of poking at each other, moving back and forth. No one's really committing right now.
Yeah, I'm liking what FXOpTiKzErO is doing here, and there goes the Guardian Shield. He's going to come on in, and he does snipe 2 almost gets that second Colossus, but those Colossus go up on the high ground. Very difficult to actually attack there, and the arc by Noctis looks like it's doing fairly well. All the Colossus, there's 4 Colossus left, but I think that FXOpTiKzErO is going to push ahead here.
FXOpTiKzErO supply is just shooting ahead, and it really looks like he's taking a commanding lead right now. It is hard to tell with all these shiny Protoss units, but it does look like FXOpTiKzErO is doing very well. 136 over 87. This Colossus ball is just extremely... And GG by Noctis. FXOpTiKzErO taking game number